On today's show, Rivian launches its online configuration tool for the R1T pickup truck, and we learn just how much the long-range battery and optional gear tunnel kitchen will actually cost. Ford appears pessimistic about the residual value of its Mustang Mach E, at least according to sample lease info, and Mini goes all futuristic and imagines a future where we're all driven around in electric, self-driving minivans. These stories and more coming next. This is Ecotricity's ecoTEC Roundup show from New Zealand's only carboNZero certified renewable electricity company. We are 100% Kiwi and we're 50% community owned. Why not switch today by going to ecotricity.co.nz. Welcome back to another weekend roundup show. I know there's not been a whole lot of content for you all to enjoy this week, but there is a great news roundup show for you now, so let's get on with it. Those who were already on the waiting list for the Rivian R1T electric pickup were given access to Rivian's brand new online configuration tool this week, and thus we finally learned how much certain options will cost when the truck goes on sale next year. At the top of the list, the 180 kilowatt-hour battery pack, the one which will give the R1T a range in excess of 400 miles, or 643 kilometers per charge. Called the Max Pack, it'll add $10,000 on top of the R1T Launch Edition, a truck that has already been priced at $75,000 and comes stock with a 135 kilowatt-hour battery pack. As for the now famous gear tunnel kitchen, complete with an induction hob, well, that will be available as a $5,000 option. However, even with all of those boxes ticked, the top spec R1T is under $100,000, so Hummer, take note. Mercedes-Benz may still not have launched the EQC electric SUV in North America yet, and I frankly do not expect it to after it announced recently that the upcoming EQS will be the EQ brand launch vehicle for both the Canadian and US markets. But this week the EQC got an important tweak in Europe, a more powerful 11 kilowatt onboard charger. Prior to this, the EQC came with a 7.4 kilowatt onboard system, which is a fairly normal standard charge rate for onboard charging in many markets. But that took more than 11 hours to charge the EQC's 80 kilowatt-hour battery pack. The new charger, which I suspect is three-phase for markets where three-phase is common in homes, slashes that charge time to 7.5 hours from a compatible 11 kilowatt charging station. Will the EQS get it? Maybe, but likely only in three-phase markets. Using his favourite method of announcing new software rollouts, that's Twitter, Elon Musk has said that the upcoming update to Tesla's full self-driving beta, due next week, will include, quote, fundamental improvements, both important bug fixes and an entire new areas of functionality. If the rollout of this new beta full self-driving release goes according to plan and the feedback from beta testers is good, Tesla says that it will increase its beta testing to a wider fleet. Musk and Tesla have made no bones about wanting to make full self-driving a reality for all customers as early as December, but since FSD beta is still only available in the US, with Canada and Norway soon to get it, I suspect real-world rollout for everyone who paid for full self-driving at point of purchase will take some time to happen. Oh, and in case you are concerned about the footage we're using for this story, it's a very early alpha full self-driving shot that Tesla made available to the press way back when. We don't have any rights-cleared footage of the current beta software. Sorry. Ford may be gearing up for the first official deliveries of its Mustang Mach E to customers in the US, but it turns out, internally at least, that some of Ford's team are readying themselves for pretty crazy depreciation on the brand's first long-range EV. According to lease residual values leaked to the Mach E Club forums, it looks as if Ford's lease team are expecting the Mach E to retain only 39% of its value over 3 years, with the worst performing models being Select and GT trim levels. This has led some outlets to claim that Ford isn't keen on selling the Mach E, but the sad reality here is that Ford, like most legacy automakers bringing a new model to market, isn't willing to bankroll residual estimates on leases for the first few model years. It's a fairly standard practice, so bear that in mind if you're looking to get one. Consumer Reports has published its latest customer reliability survey, And yet again, Tesla is in the organisation's crosshairs. This time it's for poor build quality, including panel misalignments and debris embedded in the car's paint of Model Ys. This yet again pushes Tesla down to second from bottom among 26 brands included in the survey. But it wasn't just Tesla which fared badly this time. The Kia Niro EV was slated for bearing issues with its electric motor, docking Kia's otherwise pretty robust reputation. Audi's e-tron electric car also got criticised, with power equipment problems and drive system electrical failures, putting it in the much worse than average rating. That said, as Green Car Reports noted this week, Consumer Reports still reminds readers that electric vehicles cost less to maintain and repair than internal combustion engine vehicles. So we have that, right? Damon Motorcycles, a Canadian motorcycle startup which won the CES 2020 Innovation Award for its Hypersport, a motorcycle which included a suite of rider assistance sensors and a motorised foot peg and handlebar system that could transform at speed to improve efficiency and rider comfort, has just announced 2 brand new variants. These 2 new models, the Hypersport SX and Hypersport SE, offer a far more affordable Hypersport variant to the range. That's to the models that are already available, but they still include 450-volt battery packs, onboard DC quick charging, and 6.6 kilowatt AC charging systems. The SE will start from just under $17,000 before incentives and have a range of up to 100 miles, 160 kilometers, while the SX will cost just under $20,000 and add an additional 50 miles or 80 kilometers of range over that offered by the SE. When it comes to domestic energy storage products, you probably think of Tesla's Powerwalls, but there are actually a number of other options for those wanting off-grid or grid-tied at home energy storage products. And this week, Sonnen, a long-time manufacturer of energy storage and management products, released a new product that goes head-to-head with a Powerwall. Called the sonnenCore, it offers 10 kilowatt-hours of storage with a continuous power output rating of 4.8 kilowatts. It is ever so slightly more expensive than Tesla's system with an MSRP of $9,500, but it does boast 100% cobalt-free lithium iron phosphate batteries. It's great to see more and more choices coming into the market, and I'm frankly very keen to see one in action. A select group of electric vehicle manufacturers, charging networks, parts suppliers, supply chain specialists, and energy companies have joined forces to make a brand new lobbying organisation designed to represent the needs of the electric vehicle industry in the US. Called ZETA, its members include Tesla, Lucid, Rivian, Lordstown, and many others. But as we learned this week, it does not include any legacy automakers by design. Sources in the industry have also informed me that the lobbying group, whose jobs will include persuading those on Capitol Hill to pass new incentives and laws designed to end internal combustion engine vehicle sales by 2030, seems to be heavily skewed towards the higher-end premium models and not everyday, more affordable vehicles. There are also hints and suggestions too that it could push not for blanket EV incentives, but for incentives for only US-made EVs from specialist automakers. Unfortunately, I've been able to corroborate that from the lobbying group. At the virtual Barclays Global Automotive Conference this week, GM CEO Mary Barra upped GM's commitment to electric vehicles by promising 30 new global electric vehicle launches in the next 5 years, 2/3 of which will be available in North America. During the event, we saw some sneak peeks of future GM models, including a future electric pickup, which looks Chevrolet Avalanche size, a compact crossover SUV, and the Hummer EV SUV. General Motors stated that it's also brought forward the Lyriq EV launch by 9 months to Q1 2022, the Chevy pickup ahead by 11 months, and its crossover by 21 months. Mary Barra also stated GM has upped its maximum Ultium battery range to 450 miles, 724 kilometres per charge. With General Motors now well and truly pulled out of New Zealand, the Holden brand is frankly all but dead, it's unlikely we'll see any GM vehicles here anytime soon. But as they say, a rising tide does lift all ships, so maybe it'll chivvy some other brands along that we do have in New Zealand, eh? Concept cars have been around for almost as long as the auto industry has existed. Rolled out for motor shows and other special events, concept cars either offer a believable view of a potential new model that's a few years from coming onto the market, or they offer something really outlandish that's frankly just a total flight of fancy. And this week, I think the latter is what the BMW Mini brand did when it unveiled the Urbanaut electric minivan. And yes, I do mean mini-van. It envisages a time when we don't drive our vehicles, but rather the vehicles drive for you and become extensions of our living space. Featuring a wraparound seating system and opening front windscreen, the Mini Urbanaut makes allusions to the Mini E and Active E test programs, where BMW called participants electronauts. But honestly, this is just a complete flight of fancy. And finally, while there are now some great new electric pickups coming to market in the not-too-distant future, there is a bit of a tradition in the electric vehicle world, just as there is in fact in the mainstream automotive industry, for hobbyists and engineers to turn vehicles which aren't natively pickups into pickups. And frankly, I quite like the well-executed car-to-pickup conversion. So far, we've had the fantastic Nissan Leaf pickup created by Nissan's own engineering team at its Arizona test facility. Then we had Simone Yertz and her Truckler, a Tesla Model 3 she converted into a pickup truck and even took to the Tesla Cybertruck reveal event. Now we have the Bolt Mino, the Bolt pickup. Progress of this creation has been documented on one of the Chevrolet Bolt EV forums for a while, but I've got to admit that the photographs that appeared on Twitter this week made me less than impressed. So what do you think? Dope or nope? Let me know below. And on that note, we are in fact done for the day. Make sure that you hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on our next episode. And if you haven't already switched, why not consider switching to New Zealand's only carboNZero certified renewable electricity company? It is super easy to make the switch, and when you do, you will be helping New Zealand wean itself off dirty energy and onto clean, green, renewable power that will keep the land beautiful for generations to come. Because I'm actually based in the USA and having a family celebrating American Thanksgiving next week, we won't have any ecoTEC Roundup show next weekend, but I should be back the following week. Until then, please stay safe, remember to wash your hands, enjoy the summer weather, and don't forget to be most excellent to each other. I'm Nikki Gordon-Bloomfield. Ka kite! See you next time.